time around each other. But if you want to stick around, I think we can make Saturday fun too. Cache just wants to golf. Is that true? So you're getting at? I'm in. I think we can make that happen.
Awesome. Any other questions, comments?
I did have another question. So in order to attend the summit, do you also need to join the advancement league as well? Or is it separate?
You can join the summit as a non-member.
Okay.
Or if you become a member prior to the summit, there's a discounted rate for current members. And of course, reach out if you have any questions about registration. I'm not sure if our emails were shared, but since you joined the event, if you go to our page, you can message us through there and we'll see it. Our page on LinkedIn.
Okay, got it.
I think Antoine threw a discount code in the chat too, so it should be to everyone. I'm looking at now. Just making things easy on Gary.
Yeah, there we go. And I put my email here as well.
I must have missed the discount code. Gary is gonna be upset with me.
Gary can pay full price for not trusting your judgment.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm thinking.
Every time I have to be very strategic when typing out our email. Advancement sometimes is, I'm like, it's so easy to get the C and the E mixed up. All right, there's the code in the chat for you all. Well, thanks for joining. If you all have any questions, you have all 3 of our emails, so please feel free to reach out. And definitely hope to see you in August. Ursula, the pressure is on you though, since you're local.
Yeah, it's hard. I'll look into it because it seems like a great opportunity and nice to meet like new people in the healthcare space.
Totally. All right, you all take care. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See y'all. Great to meet.
So for the folks that stuck around, I do want to say this because it was a question that we get asked often. Alex spoke to the really difference between keynotes and what we call conversations. And early on when we started the Young Health Leaders Summit, we talked about small groups and tackling big challenges. And I think we've been intentional and we've really forced our speakers to say, hey, we want to highlight you, your expertise, but you have to follow the learn, share, do format. And the emphasis is on the do. Oftentimes we're sitting in the audience and people are speaking to us and we're taking notes, but with the learn, share, do methodology, what we're really pushing for is more interaction, more engagement, and that you leave each session with more than just a notepad full of notes, that you leave with tangible things that you can apply, whether it be how to negotiate for $12,000 more and a sign-on bonus, how to, use your first paycheck and invest, how to get approval to attend a summit, how to partner with your organization's population health arm to make a difference in your local community, how to start your own company and what are the first steps there. So we have speakers, content experts that will not only talk about what they do well and what they've done well, but talk about how you can really fulfill whatever it is you're hoping to do. So that's one of the big things that we've been excited about and that we're remain excited about as we look at year 4.
I'm excited for year 4. I'm hoping that this is our biggest turnout yet. And it's my first time, as much as I've been involved in the Advancement League, my first time coming to a summit. So high expectations.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of pressure.
Right,
Seriously.
right. High expectations, but also for myself, being involved with the Advancement League from helping us create what this looks like. I feel like it's also a lot of pressure on me to make sure that it's great. So I'm excited to work with all of you and everyone else that we're working with to make this summit amazing.
Maybe we'll take you golfing before, and so you'll just be riding the high of
Exactly.
championship golf.
Right. I am here for it. My mom recently upset me. We were at my brother's college baseball game, and she was like, Cache, you would have been an amazing college golfer. And I was like, Mom, it's so many years too late for that conversation. But now I realize that would have been so.
You're like, dang, I would have.
Right.
Day
That would have
late
been
and $1
perfect.
short.
And here we are.
Look what you've
That's
done,
okay.
Mom.
Seriously, that is awesome. That is awesome. But I do want to say this. With you saying that it'll be your first summit, you've been such a huge supporter. I think back to our emphasis on community. The word community is twofold. It's building the people around us. And you actually, from a technology standpoint, started our first and now largest kind of Advancement League digital footprint from a community standpoint. So this is full circle. Another full circle moment is, our friend Zane. He was one of the first session leaders in 2018, disrupting healthcare, and just awesome to see him still doing his thing. And he is likely going to make a comeback this year. So we're excited to continue to pour into our community and to live out the community impact competition, which we're not going to spoil, but it's certainly worth attending.
I have a question for you all. One of the things that I've been pretty impressed with is the caliber of folks that y'all bring into the Advancement League. You have these folks that are on Forbes top 100 lists, 20 under 20, 40 under 40, all of these amazing lists. Founders doing super innovative things. It's hard to get in contact with these folks. And we all know from working in the health system, when it comes to leaders in any position, how hard it can be to get people to really take you seriously and to listen to what you have to say. So what has been your strategy in really attracting such top talent from all different industries, many industries that some of us just venture into? Most of us were in the hospital space for so long, but y'all have connections now over the entire, healthcare sector. How were y'all able to start that?
I think early on, obviously, it was intentional to say we want to have the kindest collection of healthcare talent. We want to have incredible people at events, or we want to think. But early on, we talked to some people about sort of how do you attract speakers, or how do you invite speakers? How do you do things? And a lot of people talked about technology of the CRM type platforms, or how like keeping track of people and stuff. And so we actually kind of went almost anti-technology, I guess, in a way. We printed stickers out, the original Advancement League stickers. One of them said, "The best algorithm is being nice." And so I think that has sort of rang true, is we've just been incredibly fortunate everywhere we've gone. And I think part of it is the community impact competition attracts people that want to really make a difference. And generally speaking, a bunch of the executives that we see speak on the main stages at all the big events, or a bunch of the Forbes 30 on 30 entrepreneur list, or 40 under 40, whatever, a bunch of the people who make those lists are on those lists because they're making a real difference out there in the world. And so I think some of the magic has been the community impact competition, and some of our messaging around, we really want to make a difference. We really want to do something different. And so we've been done that, but then just the best algorithm being nice. The places that we've shown up, whether it's at work, in day jobs, and the people we interact with, whether it's at conferences, we've paid out of pocket and split hotel rooms. And I say hotel rooms, we split a hotel room, paying out of our own money early in our careers when when day jobs didn't pay for it or things. We said, hey, we'll come meet you and fly here to meet great people and interesting people. And so that best algorithm is being mice. I think we've just tried to really say, hey, we want to make a difference in the world, and we've got space for you if you want to make a difference in the world. And that's been sort of that magical mix of getting just incredible people here. I would say the other just quick comment, we were featured on, all three of us actually, Cache, Antoine, and I were on the Going Digital Behavioral Health Tech Conference, interviewed by Solomé Tibabu, who is absolutely incredible, obviously. And you can like Google her and she does everything. And she's on White House councils and the largest investment platforms, and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation looks to her for advice, and she's everywhere. And she sort of asked that same question of how do you attract such great people? And we were like, wait a minute, like you came to our conference. Like we feel like this is a weird moment of, we feel incredibly fortunate to be talking to you, let alone her asking us questions. And so I think the real hack in life, if there is a hack, is being incredibly kind to people and trying to treat people well and do right by the future of the world and a healthier future. And you can attract incredible people.
And I'll add, being an early adapter, you can probably think of limitless analogies, catching Apple in 2008, and investing in it, or catching Floyd Mayweather, when he was 17 wins in. We've been extremely serious about, call it vertical networking, catching folks like Salome before, she hits the main stage, just because of her passion and her interests. There's so many, catching, Crystal and, Ade, who are now married and, this past year have raised, millions of dollars and continue to leave their footprint. They believed in us early on, and we believed in them. And, what we know, even, with the folks that are on this call, is that these are going to be the individuals running healthcare and everything around healthcare in the next 10 years. And I say that because what we've learned, with keeping the summit niche is that, it's not for everyone. We've had speakers that, we haven't heard of that have, rightfully so, asked us, hey, are you covering room and board? It's like, Dr. Feinberg is, paying on his own dime. And, we have all, Justin also is flying from Europe right after a layover in Italy. So, respect that ambition, but that's not necessarily the audience that we're building. We've had folks that said, hey, I absolutely love, or I like that you all really give the mic to the folks in the audience and let folks really engage. But, I want to rub shoulders with current CEOs who have been in the industry for 45, plus years, which we'll have those individuals at the summit as well, but they are interested in partnering with the current leaders and future leaders. So again, not for everyone, but life is about freedom and life is about options. And we believe that the Young Care Leader Summit is an amazing option that, we'll continue to bet on.
I'm excited.
For
Sky's the
sure. Yeah, you got to get your, what we didn't mention, Cache, because you don't tell this, but you are a world traveler, a jet hopper, and you did spend some time in the UAE. So we need some folks from the UAE to charter a jet and come on over. We haven't talked about that internet. We got some, we got Davika Wood coming from London, and she's doing some amazing things in her company, but we need your international colleagues to come.
Sounds good. I'll put some fillers out there. That could be, the UAE in itself invests so much in innovation and just ahead of time in many facets when it comes to research and development, specifically in the healthcare space. So I think it would be an awesome perspective if we got some of those folks from there. So we'll see. I'll do some work on that.
I think we'll have two so far. I think we have one flying from London and one from Munich, Germany. a good friend that was working at Philips Healthcare, and is now a leader in the global health space. I think is going to be flying in from Germany. So we're going to start being represented on the world scale.
We have to do another trip. I know right before COVID, we were thinking about planning a Advancement League event in Abu Dhabi. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But if that's still on the table, I'm happy to go on our behalf. Just say the word and we'll make it happen.
Without a doubt, it's happening.
That's absolutely been on the roadmap, is an Advancement League international trip, because number one, definitely it would be fun. I think we all agree on the basic principles of, hey, we all want to do that. But number two, which should probably be number one, is I think it'd be really meaningful. I think there's a lot of, and in some ways we are very unique in American healthcare, but in some ways we're also very uniquely sort of short-sighted or close-minded in ways that we think, hey, let's sit all in a room of all of us who've been doing this for a long time and who've been trained in this, and like, let's think of new ideas, instead of being like, hey, we've got some pretty great examples, pretty close flights that have been doing maybe similar or better things for the same many years. And we could sit in a room with them and say, what are you doing and why? And how does that make sense here? So I think there's a lot of sharing that could go both ways that unfortunately happens in pockets and in different sectors and portions of the health ecosystem, where if it happened at an earlier stage and sort of more people were exposed to it, I think we'd be in a different place in the future.
There are a few organizations that I'm going to drop in the chat that I've had the pleasure of working with. They all have their specific audiences, but it might be of interest to us to put some fillers out there.
Definitely. Exposure is everything. I will say this, and this will come from being either a member of the Advancement League or also coming to the summit, or should I say and that is, and I know Alex touched on this earlier, but real conversations and the real story. Transparently, we were talking to a friend who had, left the traditional healthcare landscape and went to a startup. The startup had a lot of promise, a lot of funding, and, things changed within 6 months. And, we can all be honest, that story is not going to make LinkedIn. You're not going to see a caption that says, I'm sorry to inform you. You only get the captions that say, I am so honored to accept the position. So, we'll hear about the funding. We'll hear about the great things that organizations are doing. We'll hear about the transitions, but the true beauty and what we've been able to curate here is both sides of that story. The pressure and the stress and, oh my God, I made this decision and it's great, but what if I want to come back, or what if, I want to make that jump, etc. So the full 360 scope is what we're hoping to normalize, whether you're talking about money, transitions, failures, and wins. And it really, truly does, build you up stronger. So much more of those things to be discussed in August in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, one quick thing I'd add about Philip asked about his boss, Gary. So how do you, these are real people's names.
We have to make that a thing now.
That's probably dangerous. Yeah,
Gary, first off, he's going to get his own graphic.
Yeah, Gary gets a trip. We need to make up a name for Gary, since Gary's a real person. We'll think of someone else's boss. But I think there are a lot of people who have been asking throughout the years of just, hey, it's $1,000 or whatever the conference registration is. Like, it's expensive. I've got to fly there. I've got to eat while there. I've got to do whatever. And I'm trying to weigh other conferences and other professional development money that my organization has or doesn't have. And I think we talk about this in the Dreams Forum when you join Advancement League. And then we talk about this on the career development side too, is your career is ultimately your career, right? I think there's a lot of conversations around just treating your career like a startup and treating your career you almost have to spend as much time on your own career path as you do on your own sort of day job. And so you got to sort of do both. And so the example that I used where Antoine and I have flown places and shared hotel rooms on our own dime to meet people or to learn from certain people or things, I think about that in terms of the Young Health Leader Summit, and especially this year, where you have maybe 250 people, and we've seen the names and lists. We have just incredible organizations, incredible people who have been featured on very prominent lists and are in very prominent organizations that a lot of us want to join, or those type of things, to get to spend real meaningful time in a way that we're promoting by saying you get to spend real meaningful time with these people, and you're going to be at lunch with them, and we're going to put you in groups with them, and you're going to have 3 captive days around them. I think it comes back to just priorities within your own career. I think if I'm saying this out of my own personal time and resource consumption, because I've done it in the past. But if I had the chance, like if past me had the chance to go to this future event, we're getting into like the sci-fi realm of bending space and time. But if I wasn't me at this event and I had the chance to go to the event knowing what I wanted out of my career, I think you find a way to do it. I would say we can set you up with a roommate in the hotel. We'll find people that are coming to split an Airbnb, those type of things. Like there's ways to make the travel cheaper. We're going to provide food. There's going to be awesome stuff. Like it's a very easy, the hotel's right across the street. And so you don't have to, it's not a major city where you have to spend $60 each way on Ubers. I've been to events like that, or where you have to, so food and hotel and all that stuff, ultra cheap. You can do it here in Raleigh. Transportation, super easy, everything like that. But that's just my statement for, we get some of the questions throughout the years of, hey, I'm thinking about other events and stuff. And then I think Antoine said, it's a free country, you're on your free will. If you're debating between other events and another event sort of wins out in your mind, like that's your choice. But there's going to be things that you certainly miss, or relationships that you miss, or things that you want to learn. I think if you go to your boss and say, here's what I want to learn over the next couple of years in my career, and here's some of the people that I want to learn from, and hey, we're about to start a telehealth platform for behavioral health specifically, and here's 3 people that I found that are going to this event that have done that and do that in their organizations, and I know I can sit down with them at lunch, and I know I can get their phone number. Like that's going to be super valuable to me, and I don't know how else I would do it outside of the event. Like if you don't know how else you would do it outside of the event and you don't come to the event, like that's sort of on you. That's my statement for I would try to be there, because I'm excited to be there this year.
One more soundbite, and then I'm gonna give Cachet, and that is the great resignation? It's about people not feeling valued by their company. But to Alex's point, I think that the question is no longer what is this summit or what is this conference going to do for us? Is what is this summit and conference going to do for you as an individual? Because companies are trying to figure out how to make people feel fulfilled, aligned with their personal visions, missions, the things that they care about outside of work. And that is the only way that we're going to survive as people that are hiring, and the only way that we're going to be happy in our careers. So I would flip that question is, how is the summit, conference, event, membership going to help you? And I think that's a life lesson that we all need to take. So somebody clip that up and spread it across social media.
The only other thing I'll add is something a little bit more tangible. I am the queen of asking for whatever it is I want. And if they tell me no, that's one thing, but I low-key haven't been told no yet. And so I'm gonna just keep asking. And so many folks don't, because, oh, I have these 2 conferences or this, that, or the other. But you just gotta go for what it is you want. And I say tangible because I really like to put together presentations, and I put together a conference proposal template. So maybe that's something as the Advancement League that we can share out with folks. But I think making sure that you're asking when you're asking for something, that you're coming prepared. You know what it is that you're going to gain from the experience. You know all of the details around cost and location and dates and how you're going to make up for your work when you're not there, or how this is going to benefit your work or your team or your department when you come back. So I think as much as, yes, we can talk about all of the value, when you do make that ask, you know, you got to come correct, just like you would any other time. And I think we can help support that by providing, you know, the key items that when you're building out a proposal for conference attendance and spending your organization's money, here are the things that you should be thinking about. So I'll probably get started on that ASAP so we can get that out there.
Appreciate everyone that joined. Again, it is almost 10 p.m. on a weekday. So we appreciate you all. We're excited to see you in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina at the Young Care Leader Summit. If you don't have a place to stay, please email Alex. He's local. He'll find a spot for you.
Marisburger House movie night. I think we're in.